Good afternoon to everybody. In last lecture, we have studied processing environment. In that, we have studied some commands such like who command. Suppose see here, I have typed who. You will see who is logged in. Who is logged in? Suppose I have pressed here who who is logged in. It will gives the result logged by guest and at what time at what date. Okay, then we have seen the command who, and then it gives the process. The system executes program who in the background and shell is ready to accept another command immediately. It gives who is presently access at what time at what date. Okay, and which process is currently ready to execute. Then next command we have seen here mkdir make a directory. Suppose here currently logged in a guest, that is a version a series guest dash a c48 id g at the rate a student version series. You're logged in, so I want to make a directory such as mkdir make for creating directory or making directory or creating new directory. Use command mkdir, then name of that directory. Suppose I have typed directory name is u you. I enter. I have created a directory. Suppose I want change that directory, that is here version series. Okay, I want change this directory with a created directory u. So cd, right, cd for a change directory, then space name of directory you want to change, that is here your current directory. Previous directory was version series, and your new directory before dollar sign. See, previous directory before dollar sign is version series, and whenever you are return the command cd u, then before dollar sign your command before dollar sign your changed directory you will see. Then next command we have seen ls command. Then suppose I want to go again previous directory, then write only cd dot dot, then dot dot indicates go to the previous directory. So or cd slash cd space slash Okay, cd space a slash. Here you are previously in directory u. Whenever you return command a cd slash, it goes to the previous directory of u. Then next command is ls. Ls command gives the list of the presently working files or present file in this currently directory. So you have written ls space minus l. It indicates the how many directories, how many files. So here, if the first see here, okay, first letter is a D. There are total 10 letters, 10 characters. First character is D, then R W X, then R dash X, and then next R dash X. R for read, W for write, and X for execute. So, and D for directory. If there is no D, instead of D there is a dash, then it is a known as a file. It is known as a file. So this directory, there are three groups: owner, first three letter indicate, first three characters indicates as these characters for the owner: read, write, execute. Then next three characters are r dash x, that is only read and execute. There is no write permission, though no write permission. Then for other group also there is a read and execute. There is no write permission. Then we have seen the different dates commands, such as date. I clear this. Suppose I have written a date. It gives day, it gives a day, then month, then a date, then presently system's time, then IST, that is Indian Standard Time, then year. If you have typed command cal, it shows the command, it shows if you type command cal, it shows the result as a present month's calendar. It shows a present month's calendar, and in that it shows the present date. Okay, if you type the command like cal of, suppose you want to see calendar of whole year, then you should have to type cal, then space, then 4 digits year. Suppose I want to see present year's calendar, then it shows like this: 4 digits. If you have written cal, then 4 digits calendar year, then it shows the whole year's calendar. And in that also, here 28 is bold in month of February, that is it shows the present date. So you will see the calendar from 0001 up to 4 digits 9 of any years. Okay, Then next command is, if you write pwd, pwd is print working directory, print working directory, that is pwd command. So here print working directory is a root, only slash is given and slash indicates that the root of this direct file system. Root is presently working directory. Suppose you have created directory u, so I want to change cd space u, then cd space, okay, I have created a directory asd. Okay, I will create one more directory mkdir, then suppose name of that directory sdf. So your permission is denied to create a directory. So suppose here written as a clear, then mkdir and name of directory is ghi, permission is denied to make a directory. Suppose you want to create a file, there is a method cat, cat command. By using cat command you can create a file, cat, then a greater than sign, then name of file, suppose xcv is the name of file. So here not permission for creation of file and directory in the root. So you should have your present working directory is a root. So there is no permission to create a directory or file below this root. So we change the directory. So cd, okay, then I will create a directory mkdir sdf g, then here, okay, I will create file cat ghj. Okay, I have created a file ghj. I will type contents in that file. Suppose I have typed the contents like this, and I want to log out from this file. Press Control D, Control D for leave the file or log. execute from file, control D. Then I want to check how many words, how many lines, how many characters in that file. So there is a command WC, W for word, C for count or word character in a particular file. So file WC space, then name of file GHJ, then it shows number of lines, number of word, number of words and number of characters in file GHJ. So first a digit or first number indicates that number of lines in that file. See here in the file I have typed the number of lines, 3 lines, then number of words, check number of words, 4 number of words, then number of characters, 3 number of characters, sorry, 35 number of characters. A space is also count in that character. Suppose I want to check only lines and words. I don't want how many characters. I want to check only line and words. Then write WC space minus L for lines and W for words of particular file GHJ. Then it shows number of lines, number of words with file name. Suppose here I have written WC minus LW then file name. Suppose someone has written like this WC space minus WL, then what happens? So it will show here previously you have written as WC minus LW. Now you have written WC minus WL opposite. You have written it shows the same answer. Okay, here the giving answer is a particular sequence. First number indicates number of lines, second number indicates number of words, and third number indicates number of characters in that particular file. Then we have seen the architecture of the file. We have seen this architecture of uh, Unix system architecture. We have seen. Then at the center there is hardware. Then there is kernel. Then a different Commands sh, who, nroff, a dot out, date, wc, grep, then vi editor, ed editor, then cc commands, that is ld, as, compared, cpp, and then other applications programs. Other applications programs may be as per user requirement. Or so kernel in general, a definition of kernel, it is an interface between hardware and user. So there are two types of modes we have seen, user mode and kernel mode. So some programs, whenever user want to execute programs, then it goes to the firstly kernel mode, then allocate particular hardware. So at a glance, in a previous lecture, we have studied the overall architecture of the system, the relationship between process running in user mode versus kernel mode, and the assumptions about the kernel make about hardware. Processes execute in user mode or kernel mode, where they avail themselves of system services using well-defined set of system calls. The system design encourages programmers to write small programs. They do only few operations but do them well. And then to combine the programs using pipes and input output redirection to do more sophisticated processing. The system calls allow processes to do operations that are otherwise forbidden to them. Then in addition to servicing system calls, kernel does general bookkeeping for user community, controlling process scheduling, managing the storage and protection of processes in main memory, fielding interrupts, managing files and devices, and taking care of system error conditions. The Unix system kernel purposely omits many functions that are part of other operating systems, providing a small set of system calls allows a process to do necessary functions at a user level. So this introductory part of the Unix operating system is completed. Then next part of the first chapter is introduction to kernel. In this part we will study architecture of Unix operating system, then introduction to system concepts. So you have studied this type of Unix system architecture. In the core part, you have study here hardware. Here is a hardware part. Then here here is kernel. Then here different system calls or commands, Unix commands. Then here applications or user applications. Or other programs. So there are nearly about 4 layers. In inner layer at the center there is hardware, then kernel, then different commands, then user applications. So suppose here I have taken a vertical a section of this like this. Suppose I have taken a cross like this from here to here and here to here. So it will look like this. It will look like this. So there are two modes, three parts. First part is kernel, user part, kernel part, and hardware part. Kernel part, this part, then this this part, and this part. This Unix commands lies between user part and a kernel part. Then first part is user application, second part is kernel, and third part is hardware. So see in this PPT, user level, kernel level, then kernel level, hardware level, then below that hardware. See here once again, here below part is hardware, this first below this below part is hardware, hardware, then above this is a kernel, then above this user. So from this part, from this part, here also kernel, then here also kernel. So kernel returns two times. Here user level, then below that there is a kernel level. This is whole part is kernel level. In kernel level there are different system calls or commands. Then below that kernel level there is hardware level and there is hardware. So whenever user want to execute any program, then we should have to allocate the particular hardware. So so there is a hardware control in kernel level. There is hardware control in kernel level. So hardware control see the which type of program or applications user want, then the allocate the particular types of hardware or system calls to that regarding that the process or application. Then there is a device drivers have connected two types, that is a character and block. So these are connected device drivers connected to the hardware control. Then there is again file system. In file system there is communication of file system and device drivers through characters, and communication of device drivers and file systems through block, and between there is a buffer cache, that is a temporary allocation of a memory. So this is one method. Then whenever process are going to run or execute, then there is a process control a subsystem which communicate this, and this process control subsystems contains three parts: inter-process communication, scheduler, memory management. All these parts in kernel level. Then so these file subsystem or process control subsystems are connected to the system call interface. In that there are different commands or system calls. Different commands such like date, calendar, wc we have seen. Then from hardware level to from hardware to we comes to the kernel level. Then we are going towards user level. So there are some libraries, user defined libraries at user level, they can communicate. Then system calls sometimes communicate directly, sometimes required user defined libraries, and these directly or through library functions, library communication is known as a trap. And there is a communication between where is there a communication between this subsystem and process control subsystem? Is there any communication between these two file subsystem and process control subsystem? There is a communication between these two parts, file subsystem and process control subsystems. And this is the whole architecture of Unix operating system we are going to study in detail. See the architecture in detail. First see the architecture in detail. If you have any query regarding this, then ask freely. I think there is no query regarding this architecture. We are going to see this architecture in detail with one by one point. So this is the figure. Figure shows the block diagram of kernel showing over various modules and their relationships with each other. It shows a file subsystem in left side and process control subsystem on right side. There are these two major components of kernel, and the diagram serves as useful logical view of the kernel. Although in practice the kernel deviates from the module because some modules interact with internal operations of each other. So there are three levels of this architecture. First is user level, then kernel level, then hardware level. This from this line to upwards is user level. From this point to below there is a line from this kernel level to this kernel level. This is whole is kernel level. Then below this kernel level there is a hardware level. So the system call and library interface represents border between the user programs and control. This is the system call and this library. Between these two there is a border. This border between user programs and the kernel user level and the kernel level. The system calls look like ordinary function calls in C program, and libraries map these function calls to the primitive needed to the entire operating system. So assembly language programs make invoke system calls directly without a system call library, however. So programs frequently use other libraries. These programs frequently use other libraries such as some standard input output library to provide more sophisticated use of system calls, and other library functions such as user defined functions, and these libraries are linked with programs at compile time. These libraries are linked with programs at compile time, and thus the part of it is user programs. Then to those that interact with file subsystem, this file subsystem, and those interact with the process control system. There are some system calls interact with file subsystems and subsystem calls, that is commands, interact with process control subsystem. So this file subsystem manages files, allocating file space, administrating free space, controlling access to files, and retrieving data for users. And process interact with file subsystems, a specific set of system calls. This process control block, that is PCB or process control subsystem, is communicate with or interact with file subsystem, a specific set of system calls such as open a file for reading or writing or executing. So there are three system calls: a read, a write, and execute. Close, read, write, execute. So there is another command is chown, that is a change owner, ch for a change. OW for owner, that is change the record of who owns the file. There are three types of owners. Previously I told owner, then group owner, and the others. Similarly, there is a ch mode, that is a change the mode for the access of permission. For access of permission, that is a read, a write, and execute. R for a read, W for a write, and X for execute. If it is a directory, then later written as a directory. 1 minute. Suppose here written as a D, then R W X, then R dash X, then dash W dash, written like this. Then this D indicates, this D indicates directory. This R W X, this R, this group R W X indicates that is owner. Then next R, this R X, R dash X indicates a group owner. And then next this a dash a W dash, that is the other. So R for read, a W for write, X for execute. Same, this is for owner, group owner, and other. Then instead of any letter RWX, there is a dash here. See, dash indicates that it has not a permission to read, write, or execute. Here, not permission for middle file, that is group owner file. There is no permission to write, and here no permission to read and no permission to execute. These are the different modes of the file. If instead of D there is a dash, then it is a file. If there is a D, first letter is a D, then this is the directory. So process interact with file subsystem with a specific system calls for reading, writing, or executing. So their requirement is to check who is logged in, and if you want to change the owner of that file, then command is a chown, chown, ch for change, o for owner. So if you want to change the group owner, then this command is used. If you want to change a particular mode of that file or directory, then use the command change mode. Then the file subsystem access data files using buffer mechanism. Here buffer cache is used. So from accessing files or data from blocks, buffer mechanism is used, and that regulates a data flow between kernel and a secondary store. The buffer cache is a secondary store. So data from block, that is block from device drivers. So data is accessed from block through buffer cache. The buffering mechanism interacts with block input output device drivers to initiate data transfer to and from the kernel. The device drivers are the kernel modules that control the operations of peripheral devices. The blocks input output devices are random access storage or random access storage devices. Alternatively, the device drivers make them appear to random access storage devices to the rest of the system. Then this is for in case of file subsystem. Then move towards the process control subsystem. It is responsible for process synchronization, then inter-process communication, then process scheduling, then a memory management. So file system and process control subsystem interacts when loading a file into memory or for execution. If there is a load in memory for file execution, then they interact to each other. The process subsystem reads executable files into memory before executing them, and some of the system calls for controlling process are fork, that is create a new processes, then execute, that is overlay the image of the program onto running process, then exit or finish the executing process, then wait process. So in previous semester you have studied a process control block. So there are our process different stages of process while executing. So new process, ready to run, then running process, executing process, wait, suspended. These are the different stages of process. Then such commands are used the same here. Wait, that is a synchronized process execution with the exit previously forked process. Then break, BRK. Then BRK, break, that is control the size of memory allocated to the process. And signal, that is control access response to extraordinary events. So memory management module controls allocation of memory. So if at any time system does not leave enough physical memory for all processes, the kernel moves them between main memory and a secondary memory so that all processes get a fair chance to execute. If there is no enough memory in main memory, then use a secondary memory so that all processes can execute. Then swapping of process, that is swapper process, sometimes called as a scheduling or scheduler. So whenever there are more processes want to execute at same time, then some processes are going to sleep or suspended for some time or go to waiting state. So at that time a scheduling algorithm is used, such as the scheduling algorithms are shortest a job first, then shortest remaining time next, then first come first service basis. etc. So the scheduler model allocates the CPU to the process. It schedules them to run in turn until they voluntarily relinquish the CPU while awaiting a resource or until the kernel preempts them when their recent runtime exceeds the time quantum. Whenever a process has given time is 10 milliseconds and the process requires time is 12 millisecond, then that process is going to suspend or going to add state as a waiting state. Whenever there is a time space is a 12 millisecond or more than 12 millisecond, then it will going to execute. Then a scheduler then selects the highest priority eligible process to run. The original process will run again when it is the highest priority eligible process available. There are several forms of interprocess communication. This is the part of interprocess communication. So ranging from asynchronous asynchronous signaling of events to synchronous transmission of messages between processes. Finally, the hardware control. This is the part. Hardware control is responsible for handling interrupts for the communicating with the machine. So the device such as a disk or terminals may interrupt the CPU while a process is executing. If so, the kernel may resume execution the interrupted process after receiving the interrupt. The interrupts are not served by special processes but by special functions in the kernel called in the context of currently running process. So we have seen the detailed architecture of a kernel. Then before going to next part, please ask if you have any doubt regarding this architecture. Have any doubt, please ask. So next part is introduction to system concepts. In this, the overview of file subsystem and processes, that is context of process, then process states, then state transition, then sleep and wake up. So this part we will see in next lecture. Before leaving the session, if you have any doubt, please ask.